Hey, it's Ryan with an updated fishing report for Big Stone Lake. It's early February and we have had a roller coaster of a season so far. To get started, I'll give a quick recap on what's been going on out here. You know, shortly before Christmas, we started to see a little bit of ice. We had some walkout ice on the lake, but by Christmas, that ice blew off and we had to wait until early January before we could get back out here. Once early January rolled around, we initially started going out, and what I was doing was I was kind of focusing on early ice patterns. What I like to do at that time is find some deeper water that's adjacent to rock structure. And initially I was catching fish right off the bat. But shortly after that, following some very cold temperatures in mid-January, that began to change. So we almost kind of went from early ice pattern to within about a week or so, it went to midwinter. Those fish moved off of those areas and they seemed to move closer to the basin into deeper water. Now, we could still catch fish, the bite was still good, but we definitely had to put our work in. We had to move around, check some different spots, and kind of go through plan A, B, C, D, and, you know, get a little bit farther down the line than normal. But once we found active schools of fish, the bite was fast. We had to do a lot of sorting in order to get our keeper-sized perch, but eventually you could get them, and you definitely also got some nice bluegills mixed in with them. Now, over the last 2 weeks, we began to see temperatures really become mild again. And initially we were catching fish, doing well, but things have kind of tapered off. And I suspect that, you know, just with the unseasonably warm temperatures and a little bit of midwinter doldrums mixed in, we're just seeing a little bit of lull in the fishing. What I'm seeing in the forecast is some cooler temperatures, followed by some cold temperatures coming, not this weekend, but the following weekend. So I suspect that'll spur some more fishing activity. A little change could probably do us good at this point. As far as ice conditions go, what I'm seeing out here is anywhere from 13.5 to about 15 inches of ice. It seems pretty uniform in the areas that I've been fishing. Now, a lot of people are very concerned about what the warmer weather has done to the ice. What I will say is there are some areas along shorelines that are looking a little rough, but some of the accesses that I've been using look okay at this point. I believe that when we get some cooler temperatures, we'll have some healing on those accesses and everything will be fine. As far as the main sheet of ice out in the main lake, that seems to be a-okay. I'm noticing that at least a foot of good ice underneath what appears to be about an inch of kind of slushy, scaly stuff. So right now the ice conditions are still holding up, so I'm not too worried about that. It's early February, we have a lot of winter to go. You know, the days are short, the nights are long, and we have cooler temps in the near future. So I suspect people will be driving out here, maybe not this weekend, but probably by the weekend after. Looking around a couple of weeks ago, there were a lot of wheelhouses being pulled out onto the lake. There was beginning to be a fair amount of truck traffic out here. All of that's gone at the moment. Today it's about 50-something degrees outside. It's almost balmy out here for ice fishing. And all you're finding out here as far as traffic is just a few people in portables. But when things cool off, I think it'll get back to normal. We'll see a better bite and we'll see wheelhouse and truck traffic resume out on the lake. As far as techniques, today what was working best for me was just the plain old tungsten jig. A gold or a glow or a fire tiger tungsten jig are my go-tos out here. Just load it up with bugs. That's typically the best way to catch the perch and bluegills. We've been getting a few nice crappies mixed in on our trips. It seems like the crappies aren't too picky. You can put a minnow down to get a crappie. Oftentimes when they roll through, we just jiggle that tungsten jig in front of their nose and they come up and nail it. One key thing to the tungsten jigs is don't overwork them. I see way too many people have kind of an aggressive jigging technique. Just quiver that bait right in front of their nose. A lot of times what I like to do is start right at the weed tops. You'll notice that the weeds are only about 6 inches, maybe a foot off the bottom in some areas. So I like to work the bait just, you know, about a foot or so above the weeds, and then slowly tease it up off the bottom in front of those fish. I don't go too high with it though. If I get those fish up to 3 feet, I don't go any higher than that. It seems like that's their ceiling. They definitely don't want to chase too much higher than that. So Go low, go slow, don't impart too much action in the jig. Just quiver it in front of their nose and slowly raise it off the bottom. That's what consistently seems to be the best for us. I hope these tips help you out. We have cooler temperatures coming in the forecast. I think things are gonna resume as usual here in the next week or so. There's a lot of ice fishing to go this season. It ain't over yet. Good luck fishing and have a great weekend.